Hey, KBR dudes. Welcome back to a surprise episode of The Beard. I'm your host, Teage Allen. I know there's got to be a lot of confusion going on out there right now. There's got to be a lot of people going, last time we checked, TJ said there would be no more podcasts until the website went up. You're very right. I did say that, and we're going to stick to that. But every now and then, exceptions must be made, and this is very well worth the exception. This is a podcast I did with my friend Reid Ackerman, and we're doing it to promote the web series that he just got done directing. And I tell you, for the man's directorial debut, it looks like he did a hell of a job. I haven't seen a full episode yet, but I tell you, I've seen the trailer, and I'm already hooked. I can't wait. It goes up today, May 31st. It premieres, and you can find it online in 3 different places. You can find it at www.youtube.com/stripclubseries. You can find a bunch of their stuff at www.facebook.com/stripclubtheseries, or you can find a whole enchilada over the whole enchilada over at www.stripclubtheseries.com. Now go check this out, blow it up, share it with everybody, especially if you are if you're a comic book geek or a geek of any sort, or you relate with the idea of leaving college and being directionless, as all of us early 20-somethings are, except for you special folk. We don't like you anyways. You wouldn't be listening to this, so whatever. But everyone sit down, saddle up, find a seat, and put your ass in it. This is going to be a great podcast. And go check out Reid. Go check out, once again, youtube.com/stripclubtheseries, facebook.com/stripclubtheseries, and www.stripclubtheseries.com. You won't regret it. But for now, enjoy this week's episode of The Beard, and I promise we'll be back soon. So this week we've got someone very near and dear to my heart, a close friend of mine, not just some guy I picked up on the street that likes movies. Although he can also be that for you. This is Mr. Reid fucking Ackerman. Say hello, sir.
Thanks for having me on here. I grew a beard just for the occasion.
Thank fucking goodness. You can't be on KBRD clean,
This
sir.
is a Thursday beard.
That's a Thursday beard?
That's a Thursday beard.
That's
that
really
started
impressive.
on Thursday.
See, but I'm actually pretty envious of folk like you. It has to have something to do with your heritage. Because when my beard starts to grow in, I have really fair skin and I have fair hair also that grows. So it doesn't look super thick.
Is it patchy
crazy.
or does it just go?
No. I mean, you're looking at it right now. It's not patchy. It just comes in. But it doesn't. You look like a comic book artist shaded your face. Like, it's amazing.
I have a little gray. You can see it. Like, it gets it's like one spot.
Yeah, but that makes you like an X-Man.
It's like Reid Richards.
Yeah.
The Reid Richards of the beard.
Oh, you're so good. You're in forever now. See, this is why I want to give this film podcast over to Reid at some point. I want him just to run this shit. Because he gets to make comic book references all day, and I know it makes him endlessly happy.
I love comic books.
But you're not here to talk trash about my beard or to even compare beards, although yours is, God, from Thursday, so that's glorious. That's beautiful.
I mean, imagine a 7-day.
I don't want to.
Neither do I.
It's because I can't do that in 7 years.
You got birds living in there.
Building a nest for their young ones.
For real.
That's crazy. I don't even want to know what my kittens would do with your beard. After 7 days.
Don't get them near them.
I wouldn't allow it. It's not allowed.
Good.
So we're not here to talk about beards, and we're not here to endlessly compliment each other's beards. We are here to talk about Reid's fucking web series.
Yes.
So wait, you wrote and directed, right?
Yes. It was actually a project that I started when my second year in college, or like when I went to a university because I was a transfer student.
Okay. Where'd you go? CSUN?
CSUN, yeah.
Okay, great.
Either my first or second year, I think it actually might have been my first, I wrote a short film about 3 guys who form a comic book club. And I kind of left it dormant, didn't really touch it. But I kept pitching at people who were like, "Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea." And
left it on the back burner, so to say.
Yeah. I got to work on other projects and other scripts. I never thought about bringing it up or directing it.
Sure.
But I had friends who were there while I was writing it who were like, "Oh, we should do this one day. We should do this one day."
The best kinds of friends.
I know, right? Yeah.
You really do have to surround yourself with people like that, or else you're never going to get anything done.
Totally.
It's impossible to get people just a podcast. I can't believe you have friends that are like, we should do your shit. Like,
for real.
That's amazing.
So I went through college. I graduated.
Congratulations. Many people don't.
Thank you. I graduated in 2012, and it was a very weird time, and the original web series that I wrote, actually the first draft of it, I read it not too long ago, and it's not very good, and it doesn't really have the themes that are really make the show what it is right now.
Sure. You weren't far enough along on the Reid Ackerman journey,
right,
to be able to put your little stamp on it, make it unique, so to say.
Right, because the show is called Strip Club.
Yeah, I guess we should have led with that. Right?
I know, right? Yeah.
I liked that we buried the lead, though.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we kept it. It sounded so serious. Like I started this in college, you know. It wasn't there. The characters weren't developed yet. And then,
Didn't you start a strip club in college, though?
Yeah, no. I worked at a strip club while everyone else was in college. I wasn't putting myself through college. I was putting my friends through college.
Right on.
That's an annoying cell phone.
An incoming transmission, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't care. Fuck that. This is podcast time.
I know, right?
But it's yes, we should have started with the fact that this is Reid Ackerman's Strip Club, the web series.
Yeah, Strip Club, the series.
Yes.
And it really comes. Originally, it came and still comes from my love of comic books, the art form.
A love we share.
Yes, I got into comics very early on in my life. My uncle, who actually wrote our strip club theme song that you're going to hear with his band, he Saint Shameless, he got me into comics. He owned a comic shop when I was young, so he used to get me all these books. I mean, I was raised on the Jim Lee X-Men, right?
Yeah,
All the Image stuff, like the Image action figures. I had a huge collection of Spawn action figures. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
And then when I got into 7th grade, I started buying my own comics.
Yeah, which is it's for not for the rest of the world, but for people like us, it's like getting your car for the first time, or like when you.
It really is.
You get that empowering feeling because it becomes such a part of your life. Like that Wednesdays, new books are out. I'm going to the comic book store down the street. I'm gonna walk by myself. I'm gonna take my bag with me. I'm gonna go pick out my books, the runs that I want to read, and it's almost like learning responsibility. You got to be there on Wednesday to go pick up the new book from your run.
Right.
That's nice.
Actually, I didn't know at that time that Wednesday was New Comic Book Day. We had a comic book store in downtown Encinitas where I was born called Thrill Books. I mean, it's long gone now.
Yeah.
But I used to go there when I would, save enough money with my mom, and I would pick up, one comic from the back issue bin. My first one, I believe, was Peter Parker 16.
My first was, you're so good. My first was, I think, like Spider-Man, 422 or something.
There you go.
Ridiculous.
But it's always something so, it's not a prominent issue. It's not a key issue.
No, you always get something where he runs into the Rhino for a second and then he's out.
Mine was the cover. I wanted it because it was Venom versus the. I remember the cover it was yesterday. It was Venom versus the Sandman, and no matter who wins, the City and Spider-Man lose. That was the tagline, and I was like, these stakes are high.
Yeah, no, that's no jokes. Oh my god. I'm a little, I'm nervous. I'm getting butterflies.
Oh yeah, for real.
I gotta go back and read that book.
It was a very good introductory issue because it was Spider-Man basically going out being, I need to find some criminals. And I was like, okay, because I watched the animated series like the rest of us.
We all did.
X-Men animated, Spider-Man animated.
Dude, X-Men animated series was something else.
I mean,
the Batman Bruce Timm animated series as well. Ooh, God,
we grew up in the really
golden age of
cartoons.
We really did.
And those still hold up today.
Oh fuck yeah, they do. I watch those all the time.
Yeah, Bruce Timm Batman, the themes and the Dean, Heart of Ice.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about Heart of Ice. It's so good. No, but even going back, you can go on Amazon and you can find a ton of the Bruce Timm era, early '90s VHS Batman, straight to movies. There's one that I had as a kid that I could not fucking I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. But it was at that perfect age where it wasn't my favorite movie. It was it's always in my it's always in my TV movie.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to play it, but it just plays while I do shit. And then I lost it when I was 11. I forgot about it entirely.
Right.
And then I was, maybe 4 weeks ago, I was just surfing Amazon because I get bored. It's nighttime. I'm not a great sleeper, so I was looking into everything. And all of a sudden, I came across the Batman animated series because I've been watching the Justice League War that had just come out, which was actually really solid. I enjoyed that.
That's the one, the Jeff Johns, Jim Lee run.
Yeah. It was really good. And then, but I looked down and the people who bought this also bought, and there was fucking Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It was, and I realized, because I was like, oh my god, fuck, holy shit, but I didn't remember anything about the movie. One of those things where you're like, I know I love this. I don't know what
remember
it
why.
is. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, I gotta watch it. It was $1.99 to watch it instantly. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I got time.
Boom.
I figured out my love of Art Deco, my love of really dark themes. I remember there's just shots that I remember so vividly now.
Well, it was really based off the Anton Furst stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
From the Batman.
I love that you know that.
The Tim Burton stuff.
That makes me so happy.
I mean, that was a huge influence.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. He really kind of captured a spirit of Gotham that was really resonated with the fans.
For real, yeah. And then something that, I mean, it's still, the Batman animated series is still present today in the comics. Like, if you read Batman currently, you'll see like the blimps.
Oh yeah, you see
stuff,
the
like,
you see
there.
you can see the Bruce Timm influence still today in the it's amazing.
Absolutely.
But regardless, sorry. Back to your
no, that's good. That's good. Like I was saying, just, you know, I pick up comics, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But what's also really important about, like, I mean, a lot of people will say, like, oh, you know, it's hard to tell the hardcore comic fans. This is how hardcore I was when the Daredevil movie came out.
Yeah.
There were no Daredevil shirts that I could find. So what I did is I made my own Daredevil
You're
shirt
the fucking man.
in middle school. It was a white shirt, and I got red Sharpie, and I wrote, you know, the Daredevil logo on it.
You're the
and
double
then
D.
I went to the theater, and they had free Daredevil buttons.
Oh
And
shit! You just covered it.
I covered that shirt with Daredevil
You're the
buttons.
man, dude.
So like that, and then the fact this will be my 14th year going to San Diego Comic-Con.
Really? I've only gone once.
Yeah,
Oh,
14
fuck you,
years.
motherfucker.
2000, I started going, and I mean, there are people who've been going since the 70s who've seen it, you know, evolve.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like I've seen it the
Oh
whole
no, you've
way.
definitely seen it grow, especially in the last few years with the explosion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything. Like
Absolutely.
you've seen people that aren't hardcore comic book fans going for things like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, like going to see panels on that shit, as opposed to just going like, I want Jim Lee's autograph. And
I know, right?
Like
I mean, Jim Lee still draws a pretty big crowd, but what's cool is
it's Jim Lee.
they're really, yeah,
He deserves that crowd.
they're all
forever.
really cool. The artists, like, if you want to go, if you see them at a booth and you're like, hey, could you sign this? They're all really nice about, like, most of them. And
It's a nice get.
I mean, don't be like Reid Ackerman said, you sign this.
Yeah.
But,
Walk up to Jim Lee and be like, yo, motherfucker.
yeah, I know.
Reid Ackerman said you'd sign this.
He's like, who the fuck's Reid Ackerman?
Draw me a Batman.
And take your time. None of that quick sketch bullshit.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, if I met Jim Lee in person and I would be like, look, I'll pay you whatever you want. I'm going to take my shirt off right now. I want you to just do in Sharpie a quick sketch of Batman's head, like a Batman bust somewhere on my shoulder or something. I would go and get it tattooed instantly.
I mean,
I'm
I'm sure he'd do
to
it.
have him fucking be like, I'm gonna get this tattooed right now. Just quick sketch of Batman's face. You think he couldn't do a bust in less than 30 seconds?
I think he'd take his time with it if it's for a tattoo.
Yeah, he'd probably make it look insane.
I mean, if it's on like a back of a comic board, probably not. But, you know, if
Well, that's different. I'm telling him to draw it on my body.
yeah, exactly. That's why he'd probably take his time with it and stuff.
That would be great.
So, but yeah, I've been going to Comic-Con for forever.
You are a dedicated comic fan.
I love it. I love WonderCon. I love all the conventions. I mean, I buy books. When I have money, I buy books weekly. So that kind of
But we're
fed
all
into,
struggling artists.
I know, right? That really fed into Strip Club because I wanted to make a show about comics that was different from what I've seen in media right now, as far as comic book shows. Because we have like Big Bang Theory, and you know, and people who like that show. I mean, that's awesome. My parents are huge fans of it.
Are they? I never really got into it.
Like I think it has really good moments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It
There's
has
parts where you
moments
laugh
that
out
I can,
loud.
like, I get, but it wasn't the show that I wanted that represented me and my friends.
Yeah, no.
It felt like it represented Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
And that audience, which is cool that audience
The more
has that
straight-laced
show.
of us.
Right, but I was looking for a show that about people that, you know, grew up with what we were just talking about, the conversation we just had.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the kind of show that I wanted to
You're
make.
looking for the scoundrels of the comic book community.
Right. I wanted to make, and when I originally pitched the show to the crew, I said I kind of want to make it Star Wars, not in the vein of Star Wars and
I know what
Alien.
you're going for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not in
okay.
the way of like, you know, it's going to be sci-fi and we're going to have the characters going in the Millennium Falcon, you know, destroying, et cetera, et cetera. But I said I want to make it like everything looks a little old and everything looks a little run down, everything's a little bit broken, and
so good.
it represents the real world, and kind of that brings me to what the theme of the show is. When I graduated from college, I didn't know what I was going to do.
The age-old leave college and be directionless.
You get off that podium. The show is about getting off the podium, sitting down, taking a hard look at yourself and saying, what now? What do I do? Where do I go? I don't have a roadmap. I don't exactly know where to go. There's no way. I know where I want to get to, but what are the steps to do? And that's really where the heart of the show comes from. It's that time right now, after college, when people are graduating and they're having a really hard time, you know, finding jobs. It's how do you stay afloat and how do you make the best out of that situation, and really represents our youth, because that's the show I wanted to make, 'cause I hadn't seen that show.
Yeah, and there really isn't a show that represents us. You have people that are slightly older than us but not comic book fans, and that's workaholics. I think all of us kind of can really identify with it, just the antics of your friends.
I love that show. That's actually when we did the Kickstarter for it, we pitched it I pitched it as it's a mix of Workaholics and Comic Book Man, and of course there are other huge influences on it.
Wait, as a mix of Workaholics and Comic Book Man?
Yeah.
Well done,
Yeah.
sir. I love that. I'm literally, I can't get enough. I rewatched the same 2 seasons of Comic Book Man.
It's
I
the
love
best
it.
show because it's like the stuff they're selling is stuff that I know and I grew up with.
Yeah, I've seen those toys. I've played with those toys.
And I know those people. Like, I know those guys. Those are like...
Those are the comic book guys I still deal with when I go in to buy books and shit.
I have friends. There's nothing I love more, TJ. Nothing I love more than going not to Comic-Con, but the best experience I had this year, San Fernando Valley Comic-Con.
Really?
The most underground. It was like next to something like I don't know if it was like it might have been a Korean church or it was something like
this. Already sounds amazing.
Something, and it was like you walk in, and it was like a place where people would play bingo.
Oh my god!
And it was just boxes of comics, and they had a stage there, and it was like the stage they were doing raffles and giveaways of like these like indie horror movies, and people were presenting, and there was such a love for the art form there.
Yeah.
And just lines of comics where you could actually like look and. Comic-Con, while I love it, it's gotten very crowded, and it's tough to look at comics. Here was like, it was so underground. There were maybe 100 people there, but it was so rewarding and so good. And we're like, what if they bring like, what if Zack Snyder just comes out, brings Batman, Superman footage, grassroots awareness?
Yeah. Welcome to the only campaign. Oh, getting a phone call. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Had to talk to my mama for a second.
For real.
It was important.
Real talk.
But we're having a conversation about how geeky we are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the spirit of the conversation. The spirit of the conversation is the love for the geeks that we are.
Yeah. Passion.
And as my phone rings, you hear the 1966 Star Trek theme song playing as my ringtone.
It was beautiful.
I think it's an absolute, that's absolute proof that we're not lying.
Yeah, that's a sign right there.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think I was saying, like, the show is very much like inspired by unemployment and how tough it is to find work. And Gerard Way, when Kevin Smith interviewed him on Smodcast, he talked about this metaphorical death you go through in your 20s when you don't give a shit about anything, but you give a shit about everything in the world, and you don't know what you're doing, and you're kind of like trepsing through life, and you're just confused on the roadmap.
Yeah.
And that's the show I wanted to bring out, and the characters, I guess how the show got started a little bit is I knew that once I left college, I went right into grad school. So I graduated from CSUN 2012, and I went right into their graduate screenwriting program.
Which is awesome.
For a year, because I wanted to, sharpen my axe, if you will.
Anything you can do.
My pen. And so I got some more. I was working in
I like the idea of you writing with an axe more than you writing with a pen.
That's so metal.
You're like, hold on, I'm brainstorming, and you fucking go out to like the circular stone, and you're just like grinding an axe with your shirt off in the sun. Yeah.
Dipping it in like wet ink or blood.
No, not even dipping it in the blood of the innocent, and then you just walk up to like a wall and start chopping and leaving red marks.
You've got an axe, you're just like. Meh.
It would be impossible to make a Q though.
Yeah.
Or just an O.
It would be.
How are you gonna cut a circle?
It'd take a while.
Yeah, no.
Unless you're on cement.
Just sharpen the pen. Okay, so you went into the graduate program.
I did, and I was working in their script library. For a while, so it was great. So I was getting my hands on scripts.
That sounds really great, yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. And I went home for a weekend, and I watched. It's so weird. I watched Spaced and Portlandia.
I love Spaced.
Right.
It's one of my favorite television shows.
And I looked at it and I said, I can do something like this.
Yeah.
Not in a way of like this is shitty quality.
No. It's the idea, because you and I are so immersed in not immersed, but well versed in Kevin Smith lore.
Yeah.
It's the idea of like Slacker. Not saying it's a bad movie, but when he went to go see Slacker, it was that moment of I can do this.
Accessibility.
Yeah, it's like this is something that I have that I can do. This is not beyond my capability.
Right.
Which is that moment is such an empowering
and
moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I went home and I remember because my mom was sitting on the couch and I was watching Portlandia with her, and I was like, I could do something like this. Something like this. Like I could make a series of sketches and blah blah blah. And she was like, you should really think about that strip club.
Dude, you have the best people
the
in
words
your
of my mom saying you should think about that strip club.
Yeah, that's amazing. But the fact that you have so many people around you makes sense as to why you're such a positive person. One of the reasons I like being around you so much is you're such a positive, happy guy.
I have a lot of really I'm very lucky to have parents who were always like, do what you wanted. And I had a really tough time in school, like just getting me through it.
Yeah, me too.
Hell of a time getting artists really through.
Yeah. Getting through
school.
something that we don't want to do.
But
whatsoever.
I did. I mean, we're kind of jumping all over the place. But I went
That's
to
good.
I went to
Jumping.
regular high school, like public high school, and then I mean, I was failing out. I was basically.
Oh, yeah.
I was on the wrong.
I did the
wrong
exact
path.
same thing, dude.
And sophomore year, I transferred to a continuation high school.
Okay.
And what was wonderful, it was called Sunset in Encinitas. And what was wonderful about that school is teachers would work with you on the curriculum. So they knew I loved movies and I loved art and I loved filmmaking. And they said, well, how can we tailor these assignments to what you love, to what's going to work best for you?
That is amazing.
For what's going to make you happy.
That's like one of the most valuable things I've ever heard.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was that. And it really prepared me because the way continuation high school works is you're doing assignments all on your own. Like you don't have anyone I mean, you have a packet of work and you have to get it done by, whenever you want, and you pass the class and you get a credit slip. So you're on your own you're keeping track of your own schedule.
That's amazing.
Which I loved because I could finish school, I could finish class in a week, or if it was a really hard subject for me, I could take a month.
Yeah. That's awesome.
How do we get on continuation school?
Yeah, what?
How did we get to school again?
Okay, look. Strip club.
Right. Get back to it. So anyway, I was like, yeah, and they were really positive about what you could do. Yeah, and that's where I got to.
Positive reinforcement.
So I'm watching that, and I'm like, yeah, I could. And I take that back to school with me because I was home for the weekend. And I was going through a weird time in my life. I mean, I had kind of like my old life was kind of moving behind me. I was moving forward. And I had somebody in my... The way script library works is you would have students in a supervision course where they would come in and they would, sit in the script library, read scripts. I would give them work to do, and it counted toward credit. And I met a kid named, he is a student named Zach. Mm-hmm. And I kind of pitched him this idea. He's a really positive guy. Yeah, and I knew he was an actor.
Guy I've met. Zach Strauss.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And Zach Strauss.
Awesome.
And I said, I'm thinking about doing this idea called, Strip Club, and here's kind of the concept, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, if you think about doing that, I would love to do that. And I was like, great. And that was right before summer. So during summer, I get right to work. I look at the draft, my old draft of it. I print it out. I do a comb through. I'm like, what do I like about it? What can be better? And I knew I wanted to do it as a web series, but I only thought I was going to write it at this point, and I was have someone else direct it. So I write, I think it was like 3 episodes. I had kind of an idea of the first one. I knew what the second one wanted to be because it's kind of based off a story that I heard from my uncle. And then the 5th one, I had an idea of where I wanted to take it.
Okay.
So I write all those, and then it's summer break. And the way the school job worked is I didn't have any work for summer.
Okay. That's
my
great.
job is like when the school shuts down, the script library shuts down, and I have to find a way to work. June. So I was going to all these interviews, and I was just like it was just for these jobs. You have a college graduate, and you think you're a college graduate, and you're like, oh, I can, the world in front of me, I can get, easy, boom.
No, sorry.
I mean, and I was going to jobs, and I don't want to say any work is beneath me because I'll do anything.
Trying to make a buck, man.
Really, but what it really, going to these interviews, I got strip club material out of it. Because that's when the theme came in, when I was like, what's this show really about? And I'm going through this summer, and I'm going to these interviews, and this is a big moment. This was summer of 2013. And this is a pivotal moment in strip club history.
Summer of 2013.
It really, I know, right? Brian Adam needs to write a song about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going through these interviews, and I say, oh my God, this is what the show is about. It's about finding your way after school in your 20s. And actually, episode 3 is called Group Interview of Strip Club, and it's based off a real interview that I had.
That is fantastic.
It's not to exactly. It's definitely exaggerated, but the format and the way it worked is very true. And when you see it, it's gonna blow your mind. But I said, if I'm having these experiences, I know other people my age are, and I want to be able to speak for them, and I want to have a voice where they don't, where I feel like they want to speak up, but I have a show. I can do this.
Yeah.
So I write those episodes, and then Zach, I send him to him. He's like, I'm in. This is great. But what about the other 2 roles? I say, well, I have a friend who wants to play. The characters are Ryan, Pike, and Zach. And the show, if you haven't checked it out online, if you haven't Googled it by this point, It's about three guys, and they're living in an apartment. Ryan, Zach, and Pike. Ryan and Pike are college graduates. They just finished up, and they're looking for work. Zach, on the other hand, is a freshman, and he didn't go to the dorms.
Oh, okay.
And everything Zach knows about college
That's a really interesting combination. I
Right.
like that. I like that a lot.
and everything Zach knows about college, he knows from Michael Bay movies. Like he's just like, it's just going to be a sea of parties. We're going to be drunk every night.
And
like,
a Transformer's going to come to my dorm.
And I'm just going to have a closet full of tanks. Like tank tops. That's it. So, and then Ryan is more, he's actively searching for work. He's like, I need to find a job, you know, he wants the finer things in life. Like Ryan, he wants to go to work, come back, loosen his tie, sit down with a bottle of red wine. He's like, that's what life's going to be after college.
He's motivated.
Right. And then his best friend Pike, who he lives with, Pike's more of like, well, we can't find jobs, and the worst thing that's going to happen if we don't is we're going to die. But we're not going to die. So everything's going to work out.
That's just awesome.
Yeah.
I already love that character. Is that Kevin?
No, that's Trevor.
That's Trevor.
Trevor
okay.
plays Pike. Kevin plays Ryan. So
Okay.
Trevor, Pike's character, Pike is very like, he looks at Zach, and he's like, you're not ready. Like, you don't know the real world, and I have to prepare you because no one's going to.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So he looks at him as the freshman, and he kind of sees like I know you. I've seen you before.
He forcibly takes him under his wing.
Right, for real. Like,
Just forces, get in there.
Yeah,
get under the wing.
It's a really good analogy in a big bad way.
That's great. I love it.
So when you watch the show, that's kind of their relationship. So I'm casting the show, and Zach's in. Kevin and Zach's like, I know this guy who could play Ryan. Mm-hmm. And I already had Pike cast as someone else by that point. And he's like, I know this guy who could play Ryan. His name's Kevin, and he's part of the CSUN Improv Club. I really think you should meet with him. I was like, cool. So I met with Kevin.
Okay. Kevin's it's funny, dude.
He's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he really is.
I've been to his improv shows. Oh my god, he's killer. And he sent me some stuff online that he did, and I was like, this guy's it. Like, he's funny.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. So I had my cast, and we're ready to go. And then the person I originally cast as Pike, unfortunately, he couldn't do it. He had, for a completely understandable reason.
Scheduling conflicts.
I mean, really, he had. I would have, if I was in his position, I would have done the exact same thing.
Oh,
and he was really cool about it. Let me know. I was like, okay, thanks for letting me know. And then Carrie, who was our production designer at that point, was like, hey, I know this guy, really into Batman. Like, really into Batman.
That's an automatic sell.
His name's Trevor Wright.
Yeah.
And you should really meet with him. And I had a couple other people I think I was thinking of at the time, and I was like, something about it. I just felt it. Like, I looked at his Facebook. I was like, I should meet up with this guy. So we met up for coffee, and within 5 minutes,
you had it.
He had it. By the end of the meeting, I said, dude, if you want the role, it's yours. And he was at the point in time he was working at Universal Studios.
Oh, great.
On the Waterworld.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was a stunt guy in the Waterworld show.
That's awesome.
So I had my cast, and then I was like, all right, well, shit, I don't have any money.
Yeah, the one conundrum of filmmaking. That fucking paper, son.
But a few months before I started the show, I did my roommate Brittany and my friend Josh and me, we all got together and we made this short film, Invasion of Privacy.
Invasion of Privacy was really great.
Thank you. It was like a sci-fi kind of Twilight Zone episode, sort of.
Yeah.
I wrote it.
That's
Josh
what sold me on
directed
the
it.
idea of it.
Josh and I both came up with the story, actually, and Brittany produced it. So she put a ton of work into it.
Which one of you guys directed it?
Josh did.
Josh directed it?
Josh did. Oh,
Josh
yeah.
has got a great eye.
Oh my god, it's
love him.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like, just the way he does, like,
Dude's great.
the way he directs action is really like.
It's really. I remember seeing it in high school because we were in film together in my senior year, and I worked because I was in the music department before that. He was in film, so we knew each other. We worked together on weird things. Like, I made music for movies and shit like that. I don't know if I ever did for any of his, but I remember seeing him and Cristiano, who I'm sure you've met.
I love it. Yeah,
he's fucking amazing as well. You'd see them do, because I got really into parkour like my junior and senior year.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Yeah, like I loved it. I did it constantly.
That's cool.
And Josh is one of those people that's really into like the action.
Oh
movie
yeah,
thing.
Tony
So,
Jaa, like.
yeah, he's in immediately. So I start talking about parkour, and he's like, "No way!" We start pulling desks out of the film room and taking them outside, and we're like doing vaults over the desk together and
Oh
stuff
my
like
God.
that. And then I remember watching him filming something. We had these big arches, like the corner piece of Culver High that we all went to. Not you went to. You went to Encinitas. Culver High has the auditorium, big brick building that comes out from the rest of the school, but the fences all meet right there, and has these big white arcs that go down to the floor, but like you can walk up them all the way to the top of the.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, they put a bunch of grates on them and shit so you wouldn't do it, but we all did it.
Yeah.
But
how do you not?
Exactly. Like I remember very vividly seeing him doing like Christian's doing like a tracking shot going really low and coming up, and Josh vaults a set of bars, lands on this. Oh no, sorry, jumps from the bar, puts his foot on the white pillar thing, and just like vaults over these other bars. And like I just remember looking at it, going like, if he wasn't so talented, this kid would be retarded. I love him so much. I'm so happy he's so good at what he does because he's fucking amazing.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know how we just got to Josh Blake. I have a very large fondness for that man.
No, his action. I mean, he directs action like.
And he's
so
a hell
good.
of a guy.
Yeah, no, for real.
I love Josh Blake.
For real. So
good man.
So we all made this movie, and I was watching him direct because I was on set every day. It was shot in my apartment, the Invasion, and I'm watching him direct. And I'm kind of, because I knew I kind of had strip club, and I kind of wanted to do something with it. And I was like, but I don't really know what it's like to direct. At that point, I was just going to write it. And I was going to get somebody that I knew to direct it. And I'm kind of watching him, and I'm taking cues, and I'm noticing, like, how good he is. And I'm like, I should just, do what he does on a set, and I can do it. And then Evasion's a very different kind of film. It's an action movie. Very much so, yeah. But I mean, watching him do it really inspired me to the way he would work with the DP. And I mean, it was really like a film school for me. So
he's incredibly proficient.
Oh my god, yeah. He's really good.
He's the prodigal son of action films.
He did all the graphics for Strip Club.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, you look at the poster, you look at all that. That's all from Josh.
Josh is amazing,
and he killed it. He did an amazing.
He always kills it. It's Josh Blake.
I know. He's an amazing job. So I'm watching that. I'm like, I think I could do something like this, less action. I don't have that experience, but I could do this. So we kickstarted it, and I was like, well, I watched Brittany doing the Kickstarter and how she did it, and kind of explaining to me, well, you need to do this, and that's how it's going to be successful. And she looked up statistics, so I kind of modeled the Strip Club one off that a little bit, and I put a lot of work into it. We put a lot of work into our video. By that point, I had gone to a party, and my friend Rain, who we're going back to the beginning. I originally pitched it to the guy I talked about, who was like, you should do Strip Club. Like, that's good. He came up with a name for Strip Club.
Oh, great.
I was like, oh, comic book club, da-da-da. He's like, called Strip Club, like comic strips. I was like, that's smart.
Yeah. That's
so I remember Brittany and I went to a graduation party. It was in late 2013, and I saw Rain there. I said, Strip Club, we're doing it. Are you in? And he's like, that's all you needed to say.
That's
and he introduced me to Kyle, who was our sound guy that night.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Kyle, and we went from there. And then I reached out to Blake, who's our director of photography, and I said, would you be interested in doing this? And I seen Blake's thesis, and it was incredible. Like, it looked so good, and it was kind of this like, it was darker and this kind of like very gritty type movie, and I was like, I don't think he's gonna like strip. I don't know if he's gonna go for Strip Club. Like, it's very like joking and comedy. And I met with him, and he was like, this sounds great. Like, this sounds really funny.
Well, it's fun. Like, it's everyone wants to be a part of it because it's A, cool people, B, cool idea, and you just get to hang out and joke and laugh. Everybody loves laughing, Reid.
Right.
Everybody.
It's true.
The only people that don't love laughing are douchebags.
Or mean people.
Yeah.
Or terrible people.
Yeah, people with no heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, people that don't even enjoy, like, Disneyland.
That's the worst.
Yeah, anyone that doesn't enjoy Disneyland.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Go fuck yourself if you don't chew Big Red.
If you can't get down on the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, for reals, though. Like,
real talk.
We got to get off this. I'm starting to get upset.
But so I go to Blake, and Blake's in, and then boom, I'm getting everyone's Kickstarter bios, and I'm like, we're going to launch this Kickstarter right before Comic-Con. I said, that way I can get flyers printed because I'm going to Comic-Con, and I can pass them out, get people donating.
That's ace, sir.
So we launched we launched the Kickstarter. I go down to Comic-Con. We shot the video. That was before Blake. We had Blake at that point, so the video was shot by somebody else. And we go down to Comic-Con, and I'm passing out flyers, and just the reaction of people, because they get the flyer, it says Comic Strip Club, and people are like, what? Are they advertising an actual strip club?
Yeah.
Like, but it says the series and like web series and blah, blah, blah. But first glance at it, it really became viral marketing without.
That's genius. It really is, because it catches your attention so fast.
Right. And so the Kickstarter's up, and what really got us this is, once again, my mom, who's been really supportive, she was sending it out to people she knew.
Great.
And I got a call on Comic-Con's Thursday through Sunday. Mm-hmm. Well, Wednesday if you have preview night, but I didn't. So it's Thursday through Sunday, and I get a call on Friday from someone named Pam Cragen, think it's Pam Cragen, at the Union Tribune, and she said, "Your mom sent me the idea for the web series. Have you seen Superman Returns?"
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Brandon
there's that
Routh's
scene in Superman Returns when Superman comes back and they're at the Daily Planet and he's like clothing. What is he wearing? Sports. What team does he support?
Yeah.
That's Comic-Con in San Diego. They're like, every section needs to be about Comic-Con in some way.
That's cool.
So she's like, we think that your web series and the kid from Encinitas who went to LA had a lot of struggles making this web series. We think it'd make a really good piece for our local section. Yeah, my mind is blown. At this point.
That you can't buy luck like that.
It was so lucky. So she took me up to.
Congratulations,
Thank
just on
you.
your life right now. I'm really happy for you.
So I get there and I meet up with her and she takes a picture with me. She let me really choose where I wanted to take a picture, and I was like, we'll take two. We'll take one at the DC booth.
Nice.
And then I want to take one over at me looking at comics, and she took both. And as she took it, she was like reusing the one with you and the DC characters. Like that's the better one, and it was very clear it was. So she took me up, actually, this is really funny, to do the interview at the portfolio submission area.
Holy shit.
Where people are meeting with their art portfolios.
Oh my god, you're kidding
So there's
me.
all these people on pins and needles, and there's me oh yeah, I'm this series, and we're gonna shoot it all in my apartment on this budget. We're gonna do it, and it's gonna be cool. And
That's oh my
and
god.
all these people are just like, no.
That is sir, you're a man after my own heart.
So it comes out online that day. She's like, it'll be there either today or tomorrow. So it's online, I think, that night. But what really blew my mind is Sunday. My dad came in my room because we were going to. My friends were all staying over. My dad calls it Indian guides whenever friends come over for Comic-Con because we all just have a giant sleepover. My dad comes to my room and he tosses a newspaper on my chest, and I look at it, and I'm on the front page.
Dude, what?
Of the local section.
Oh, dude, high five right now. You're the man.
And it was really amazing to see, and everyone was so
you kept
supportive
it.
of
How
my
many
town.
copies of it do you have? Don't lie to me. How many fucking copies?
I
do you
have one hanging on my wall, but
That's
my
the
parents.
only one you have?
My parents have a lot.
You're so full of shit.
My
You
par-
got another one.
I mean,
You don't
I
have a
probably do-
backup?
I probably do somewhere. My parents have more than I.
You got a backup.
My dad was talking about calling the newspaper and just getting all as many as they had.
Yeah, can you just give me every one that you guys just have in the back?
Basically, he was so happy, and because he goes to the YMCA every morning.
Yeah.
So you could show that to they
yeah,
have
that's
newspapers on the table. He's
It's a huge moment.
check that local section.
That's my son.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
I made that with my wiener.
Exactly. Those words to a T.
Yeah.
So what that acted as, I don't think necessarily it got that many people backing, but what it did is it also showed up online, so I could send it to people and be like, look, here's the show, here's the pitch. We're actually getting some press at Comic-Con.
Holy, dude, that's genius.
And it was a really good marketing tool.
Yeah, and it's almost like a bluff card.
Really?
Yeah, because you didn't get the back, you didn't get backing out of it, but you're getting other people to go yeah, we should do this.
They're this is legitimate.
Yeah, it's that proof that someone else validated you. It's the whole idea of on Facebook, likes beget likes.
Yeah.
The more likes something has, the more fucking likely, oddly enough, it is to get another liked or to get a ton of likes.
That's so true.
It's the same idea behind that. So if someone else has validated you already and been he's good enough to put in the local section of the San Diego fucking paper, right in the middle of Comic-Con, he's getting Comic-Con press, we validate him. So much easier for another person that would be skeptical to be well, someone else already did it, so skepticism aside, I validate. I'm in
Right.
it. So that's a great card. I call it a bluff card only because there's no real juice behind it, but
No.
it sweeps.
Yeah.
Everybody jumps onto it. It's such a good thing to have.
And it was cool to be able to to update the Kickstarter with that for people who'd already backed.
Absolutely, because then it goes man, we made a good decision.
Yeah, we had the idea. Now this person at the Union Tribune, and to be written up on the front page of the local section at the biggest comic book convention that I know right now, I could be wrong, in the world, or at least the most publicized.
The most recognized, if nothing else.
Yes.
It is the flagship of Comic-Con.
And it was something, because I've been going for 14 years, that it was cool. And she even wrote in the article, I said a thing about how, I want to go back as a panelist. I've always wanted to go to Comic-Con and have a panel. It's a big thing. And she talked about Kevin Smith mentioned in the article. She talked about, because I mentioned, Clerks was a huge influence on
You
me.
and I are the kind of people that no matter how it comes into what we're doing, it's like, yeah, and by the way, this Kevin Smith thing is what kind of made me want to do this. Like, we automatically, we're odd as fanboys because we praise our mentor.
Really?
Like, every time I podcast, this whole thing is begun because of
Kevin
Smodcast.
Smith,
Yeah, it's all done because of Scott Mosier and Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do where I fucking, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
You'll love this. Actually, when I made the Facebook group, like our private group for the strip club,
Yeah.
like of all the cast and crew, I said, go in with this attitude, and I posted the why not speech.
Oh, that's
When
so
he talks about,
Yeah, that's it.
if you haven't, listeners, if you haven't Google, like YouTubed, Kevin Smith, why versus why not, I think it's called.
Probably, yeah.
Do it, and you'll.
If I remember, it's on Too Fat for 40.
I think you're right.
I think it was on Too Fat for 40.
You're right.
He does question and answer sessions it periodically tapes them. It started with an evening with Kevin Smith, I think in the late 90s or maybe the early 2000s, and then evening with Kevin Smith 2, Evening Harder, and then there was Too Fat for 40, Kevin Smith Burn in Hell,
Yeah.
and I think there was one or two other ones that I'm forgetting.
The Australia one that I can't remember is Jay and Silent Bob Go Down.
Go Down
Under. Yeah, that was
but
it.
Nah, that's not so much a question and answer.
No, it's not.
That's just them doing
It's
Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So-
know too much about
I know,
this
I know,
subject.
right?
It's really kind of
So,
ridiculous.
but if you haven't YouTubed that, it'll make you that thing that you had in the back pocket that you want to do. It'll make you want to do that.
Yeah, it's a perfect explanation as to like follow whimsy. That's what
Yeah.
KBRD was. KBRD was the whole like I was just like fuck it, I'll do it. I mean, I've got the equipment. I've been a musician for years, so if it's all here, I might as well just record me and my friends talking because they make me laugh. If nothing else, when they die, I've got something to show my
Right.
Like the fucking whatever. But you watch something like that and it makes you want to chase things like this. Like all of a sudden, KBRD just kind of took off when we went and fucking promoted it. A bunch of people jumped on the bandwagon like immediately. It's a beautiful thing, and it's all the whole why not idea of being like, I've got it. Why don't I just do? I mean, why not, man? Like I'm in. Like, and then when someone questions you, it's just such a ridiculous thing. Like, I'm not gonna go into it. Go watch Why versus Why Not Kevin Smith on YouTube. It'll
Change your life, really.
yeah, it will. It is. It's actually a really poignant piece. Like
It's a thing that, really made me make that extra push to be like, no, I can do this. No, this.
And look at you did, motherfucker. It's premiering. When is it premiering, by the way?
May
Because
30
we are leaving out crucial. We're talking about a lot of
Crucial
shit.
deal too. Yeah. We just aired the trailer. If you go to youtube.com/strip club series, you can watch our announcement trailer, as well as 3 shorts that we did while we were doing the Kickstarter, kind of introducing each character. So we introduced Ryan, we introduced Pike, we introduced
As the characters?
Zach, as the
that's
characters.
great.
Exactly.
It's genius
kinda
marketing,
so
sir.
you can
Nice.
get, that's, the Kickstarter was 30 days. So each week, what we did is week 1, Ryan's intro. Week 2, Pike's intro. Week 3, Zach's intro. And then week 4, I had some test footage. We just filmed them 3 different angles, or like 4, just go improving in character.
Oh, beautiful.
That's an exercise I did with them before we started shooting. I said, I'm going to give you situations in the house, and you guys have to be in character the entire time.
You're a genius director.
And they loved.
That's great.
They
That's
loved
fun.
it.
That's just fun for an actor to
So
do.
we shot it, and Rain cut it together in like Rain's our editor. He cut
okay.
it together in this cool little test footage piece, and we ended up using part of it in the Kickstarter video.
Nice.
So
Beautiful.
we have those on there, as well as our announcement trailer, which gives I think it's 40 seconds. It's got our theme song in it, and it
Which was done by your uncle's band again,
yeah,
you said?
Saint Shameless.
Saint Shameless?
Saint Shameless, and it's kind of like it's an announcement trailer. It only has stuff from the first episode, but we're airing episodes 1 and 2. Episode 1 is called Secret Origin,
Nice.
which is
Yeah,
based
it's-
off any Superman, Secret Green Lantern.
We all have
Hopefully
our
we'll get
secret origins.
Aquaman one day.
One day.
Oh my god.
I don't know why everyone shits on Aquaman. He's the man, but fuck that. Too many tangents. Keep
And then episode 2 we're also going to air on May 31st. It's called Demon in a Bottle.
Oh, that's great.
That's the name is the shares of the same
Yeah.
as a very
very, very prominent run of Iron Man.
yes. But it's not about that. So we're airing those 2 episodes
it's
on
still
May
great, though.
yeah, on May 31st. So you watch the first one, you can go right into the second one.
And they can find that where? One more time. Just nail it home, man. Plug the fuck out of it.
YouTube.com/strip club series.
Check it out. Strip Club Series.
Strip
YouTube.com.
Club. I'm really trying to emphasize the S's in it.
Series.
It's a lot of S's.
Yeah, it is. No, you
Strip
got
Club
some-
series. So we have those 2 episodes, and then every Saturday after that, episodes are going to follow.
Great. Great,
Ending
great.
with episode 5, which is called Winter is Coming. Just a little tease. We haven't announced that yet. So
No, that's great.
That's gonna. The season finale is called Winter is Coming.
I'm really excited.
And it's not I think it's not what you think it is. But you can also like us on Facebook, facebook.com/stripclubtheseries, which is kind of different from our YouTube name, Strip Club.
One's got a the, one doesn't.
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I couldn't find it for a second, but that's because I left the R out of strip.
It's like you're trying to get these names, and it's like the might be taken out. This.
So impossible.
That's why you get you see something like daredevilmovie.com, or Yeah. They should just go for it, daredevilmovie69.com.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh, you're not down. You're not down.
I'm so down with that, dude. What are you talking? Oh, you're dumb. Hold on. What was I going to say?
Strip club.
Oh, no. Sorry. What I'm going to do is I haven't seen the trailer yet. So before we sign off, I'm going to halt the recording process.
Oh.
I want to watch it so I can give a legitimate reaction to the trailer and what I think is coming.
Yeah, let me know.
We're going to do that in a few minutes, but right now I've got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
One. So this is going to be a five episode series.
Okay. Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yes, 5 episodes.
Are you going to be doing a follow-up? Or are you going to be doing a second?
If
it's well received?
We'll see. If everyone wants to come back, let's just say I'd love to work with these people again.
Yeah, sure.
And I have ideas, and if they want to come back, I would love to have them back. Because the story doesn't end.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say that it's the tip of the iceberg for these characters.
That's great.
The story has, a long way to go. Obviously, you start characters in one place, you want to end them in one place. And I have an idea of how it ends, but it says season 1. It doesn't say Strip Club the series. I'm
excited.
It's so if everyone.
So there are big things to come from Mr. Reid Ackerman.
Yeah, if everyone wants to come back on board, I'd be so, happy to do it. But that being said, people work, people do things, but if we can get it together, I would love to because I loved making it. And these people, I haven't. Let me just say real quick, the people that worked on this show, I got so lucky.
Yeah.
And I can't. Such why not people, and who brought 110% of it, dropped their lives, dropped stuff that they had to do. The show, since we started it, we've all evolved so much, and so many things, crazy things have happened in our life, like life-changing events.
Yeah. And
we've all been through it together. And Casey, who was our PA on the show, he also plays a very prominent role in episode 2. He said, he's like, not only, like, he said something along the lines on Facebook Day, not only did we make a great show, but I made a lot of amazing friends.
Yeah.
Which to me is important, and
it's the best part of it all.
That you can all, hang out afterwards, because there's some, you get on some sets and people just want to, like...
They can't wait to shuck off the day and just leave.
But after set, we grabbed, a pizza and just, like, hang out and talk and chit-chat what we liked.
Yeah, and you guys throw parties where they all come. I've met the cast entirely. I've met people that worked on it because I've come to your parties as well. They're great people. Like, you definitely forged... The thing is you are such a magnetically good person. Like, you're a good person, and it pulls other good people to you because you're so much fun to be around. Like, you're hysterical. You've got a really, like, sharp sense of wit, which I really like. Like, you're quick. You're on the ball, and I appreciate that very much about you. But it makes sense that these people will gravitate to you because Kevin's a fucking great guy. Trevor is they're amazing. Zach is such a nice guy.
They're just good people.
Exactly. And I think, if any, like, it just makes sense that you all work together. You're good. You're a good group.
And they all, they want to do stuff outside the show. Which
well,
is,
of course
like,
they do.
Like, no, like hanging out and, like, go places.
Sorry, I thought it meant work.
No. But, like, Trevor will come over and just, like, we'll, like, sit down and, like, pound out 6 hours of, like, Arkham City.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Or like Arkham Origins, because he's, really into Batman. Or I'll go to Kevin's improv shows. And what's really cool to me is watching them during the process of making the show, get their own ideas and want to pursue their own dreams, like outside of strip club.
Whimsy begets whimsy, my friend.
I know. Like, you could be like, I could be, no, you have to do this show and that's it. But I'm like, no,
go do your thing.
Do this because this is amazing and this is the best thing like ever. It's so much fun and you should do it. So we have people on the crew who form their own projects outside of the project that now I can help out with and I can watch.
That's a fucking wonderful, beautiful
which is
thing.
So cool to have. So I can't thank my cast and crew enough. If I could name everyone, I would, but it would go through the list of like 20 people. But
just look in the credits.
Yeah, just look in the credits and every.
Go watch it, motherfucker, and look at the credits.
Yeah. I've said it on Facebook. I've said it on Kickstarter. You take one person out of the equation, you have a completely different show. Oh, because we were writing as we were. Not writing as I was going because I had an idea, but the way I direct, or I like to direct, and I've heard it on. I watched a lot of the writers' room and showrunners and how they approach that. If the actor comes to me and they have they think they have a better way of saying things, or a way they feel more comfortable of delivering a line, I want them to do that if it's within the realm of the story.
Yeah.
As long as it's not too far off the beaten track, and even then I can be like, let's try and workshop it a little bit.
Yeah.
But if they have an idea, or I said, if you get an idea in character that you want to just blurt out a line, you want to say this, and it's not written, I want you to do it.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Because we can always not use that take.
Exactly. You have to embrace spontaneity.
Yeah,
especially
but if we
with
don't
funny
get
guys like that. Yeah.
If we don't get that, then that's a crime.
It is an absolute crime, especially with people as funny as those three dudes.
Because they felt it in character. They were in character. I'm trying to think of there's been the Trevor scene in Demon in a Bottle. I'm not spoiling it, but there's a scene where he yells at Zach. He's like, "Listen up, Hasselhoff."
Oh, that's so good already.
But we had there were a million takes where like, "Listen up, Nolte. Listen up, da da da."
That's so good.
And he would come to me. You can see it behind the scenes. He comes up to me and he's just like, I was thinking we could try this, this way, or I was thinking of this idea, and it was just a really cool collaborative process.
I'm really excited to see this show.
So I'm really excited for you to see the show and everybody, and I hope they see a little bit of themselves in it, because that's what I'm going for.
I'm sure they will.
If people can watch the show in my generation and be like, oh my God, that's me. That's what I'm going through. That's the hardships I'm facing right now in life. I mean, there's a point in my life when I was going month to month and I didn't know how I was going to pay rent the next month. I'm like, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to capture in the show, in that time in your life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm really excited to see it. And thank you so fucking much. One more time. This shit premieres May 31st.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, May 31st, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Nice.
On youtube.com/stripclubseries. Make sure to watch the trailer beforehand. Like it on Facebook, and leave us comments. Let us know what you think. What's cool about it.
Be vocal about it. Be involved.
Exactly. Because I love feedback, and I love people responding to the work, and just if anything, just message me on Facebook. Let me know what your favorite comic is.
Yeah, go find Reid on Facebook. It's just Reid Ackerman, ReidAckerman.
We're also Strip Club's also on Twitter, I should point out. At Strip Club Tweets, and on Instagram at Strip Club Instagrams.
Okay, that's all right, man.
So we posted some behind the scenes
got a monopoly on strip
and
clubs.
yeah, there's some cool stuff in it.
You guys gonna open a strip club at any point?
So I mean, that's the plan, right? No, I always thought the irony would be if we all went to a strip club. That'd be I'm we should go for irony's sake, just for the photo opportunity alone out front.
Yeah, which is really odd because what I know of all of you, the last place I'd expect to find any of you.
The original opening, and we couldn't do it for cost reasons, obviously. But I wanted to open the show, opening. Seinfeld, how they open, they do the restaurant.
Yeah.
I want to do that, but on a really nice neon strip club sign, and then just pan over to a broken down apartment.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's great.
So anyway, that's
awesome.
That's it, man.
Well, I'm glad you came in. You're gonna start coming in way more fucking often because we hang out as it is every now and then.
Yeah,
because we're fucking. You're my buddy.
We're bros, man. I love your podcast. I love what you guys are doing here. And
thank you.
And the idea of you starting your own podcast network it's just so cool, man.
Thank you.
And you should keep going and pursue it.
Oh, I'm never gonna stop. You
don't stop.
What the fuck what else am I gonna do, man? I got nothing to do right now.
Because you'll always have one listener. I will always listen. I will always download.
And you will always have at least one viewer. Actually, two at least, because Drake watches everything I watch. So
there we go.
You're perfect.
So yeah.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed Room 7, the first episode.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Say goodbye to, or don't say goodbye to him. He's not gonna fucking hear you. Say goodbye to everybody out there in podcast land. Reid.
Bye, everybody in podcast land.
And this is Teage Allen signing off.